I am Alen Stellian, the midlife mentor and the founder of the Thrive membership for women 40 and over. Today, I am thrilled to introduce you to our guest, Bernadette Cormier. Bernadette is a certified dating coach who went on 35 coffee dates before meeting the right man. Born in Canada, she lived in the suburbs of New York City when she got divorced in her early 50s and had to re-enter the dating world. She knows firsthand the uncertainties and the challenges that midlife women are facing when they start dating again. So Bernadette, welcome. I have been so looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So to start, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about what you do and what your motivation is to do this. Like how did you come to do this work, and how do you help women?
Okay. Well, like you said, I got divorced in my early 50s, I should say. And I didn't know where to start when I was ready to date. It was scary to go online and organically meeting somebody at the grocery store or at an activity. Doesn't always happen. So I went online and I learned the hard way. And after 35 coffee dates, I finally met the right man for me, and I'm so happy. And I was helping my friends along the way. So and all of a sudden I was loving it. And I decided to take a course and become a certified dating coach. So what I do, I help women over 40 regain their self-confidence, because after you go through a divorce or you lose your spouse, sometimes your self-confidence is a little bit shattered. And then I help them re-enter the dating world and have fun with it. What I do, I basically hold their hands through their dating journey. From the time that they start working with me, we work on their self-esteem, and then we work on their goals. Are they looking for a companion? Are they looking to live with somebody, share their life with somebody again? What exactly do they want? And then I help them to get online. I also help them to find somebody organically. I give them all kind of tricks on, where to go, how to meet people organically. But if they want to go online, then I help them get organized online, like get their pictures ready, their online dating profile ready, even their first emails. At first, you don't know what to respond when somebody writes to you. And then their first dates. I mean, these women haven't, and me included, you haven't been on a date for 20, 25, 30 years, you're nervous at first. And then I hold their hand until they actually meet somebody. Sometimes they will go out with someone for a month or so and it doesn't work out. And then they come back to me and then we work again together.
So do you find that most women are open to the idea of online dating now? I mean, it's become and COVID, I'm assuming, only made that even more
Yes.
of a thing, of an acceptable way to go. Or do you find that there's still some, I don't know, that seems like, aren't there a lot of just, sleazy guys looking for women on there? And is there still some of that negative perception, or do you find that that's kind of moving off?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of women are afraid, but there's nothing to be afraid of. Yes, there are weird people, like there are weird people on the street or wherever you go, and you have to be careful like anywhere else. But it is the new and accepted way of meeting other singles in your age group with similar interests. And you should never be embarrassed or ashamed to do online dating. It's not just for young people. There are websites for younger people, middle-aged people, and seniors. There are people in their late 70s and 80s who are online. So it's for everybody. So what I find what I tell my clients, the main thing when you start online dating, the most important thing are your pictures. You want to make sure that you have good pictures. And then the second
Well, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes.
What do you mean by good pictures? Because I mean, good pictures, do you mean like full makeup, blown out hair, the whole thing? Or are you looking to like how far off day-to-day reality do you want to look in your photos? You know, like I
Yeah.
mean, you know, like do you dress up? Or is it more casual? Like how do you want to present yourself, or does it depend on what you're looking for?
Well, your first picture should really be like a headshot with a nice smile. And you want to look like you're going to look when you meet the person. You don't
Okay.
want them to think, oh, who's this? This is not
Right.
the same person who was on the picture. And then your other pictures, you need a full body picture, and you need pictures that you're doing activities, something that you enjoy doing. So you can have your friends take your picture. It doesn't have to be from a photographer, but you need good pictures that are not blurry, that you're not with other people, so that the man who looks at the picture says, well, okay, which one is she in this group?
Right.
Like, and then you arrive on the date and he says, oh, well, I like the other one. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by good pictures. And then the second most important thing is your written profile. That is so challenging for men and women to write, because it's hard to talk about yourself. You don't want to sound too braggy. You're not sure what to say. So I suggest to keep it short. You're not writing a novel here.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of just opening the door to say, hello, here I am. So sometimes I suggest it should not be longer than your hand. You keep it short. Yes.
Is that like, I haven't been on these dating sites, but do they give you guidance on the sites, or do they have like different areas for you to fill, you have your name, your age, or whatever, what you're looking for? So like, then there's a description piece, I'm assuming, or like a narrative piece. And that's the piece you're saying should just be like a paragraph, or not too long.
Exactly. Yeah. Because remember, everybody is going through a bunch. Like, there are thousands and thousands of people online. So if your profile is too long, a man will not take the time to read everything. So you want to give enough information, of course, but you don't want to have it too long. And another thing that I wanted to tell you that I forgot, when you go online, like, you don't order a made to measure man. See, a lot of women say, well, I want a guy who's at least 6'1". He cannot be 5'11". He's got to be 6'1", right, with hair, no facial hair, no tattoos. Well, these are human beings on the other side of the screen. So you have to be realistic about, about it as well.
So more showing some flexibility, and I would assume kind of getting really clear on what are the most important things you're looking for. Is it really appearance based? Maybe it's about their values, or maybe it's about their passions, or, maybe, I'm assuming, you may decide, oh, I don't want somebody who's never been married, because, that means that there's something wrong with them if they've never married. And then you might realize, no, there's a good reason this guy didn't marry, and you've now not given yourself the chance to meet them. So it's kind of, I would assume you want to be as flexible as possible, but then also get clear on, here are my deal breakers. Here are the things that I absolutely, like maybe some guy who's never had kids, who's like, I want to have children now. And, you're in your 50s and you're like, okay, or, I don't want to have children. I already have my kids, or I don't want to adopt, or whatever. So
yes. And also sometimes you have people who have lived with somebody but never got married.
Oh, true. Right. So just because they've never been married doesn't mean they haven't had a long-term relationship.
Exactly. And they can have children, and they may have been together with somebody for 20 years. And now they're single, and they cannot really say they're divorced because they're not divorced.
Right.
They've never been married, know. So that's why you're right. You have to be flexible.
Right.
And so in your profile, you really have to show who you are. You have to express your personality, because you have to realize the person on the other side of the screen doesn't know how great you are. So you really have to show it. And that's where people sometimes say, well, I don't want to brag. Well, you're not bragging. You're just like letting people know who you are, what you're like. And it's so important to write your profile with a positive mindset. I always tell my clients, if your fridge broke down and you had a difficult week at work and you had an argument with your neighbor and you're in your old sweatpants, do not sit and try to write your profile, okay?
That's not the right time.
No, like go for a walk, listen to your favorite music, do something that you enjoy doing, get in a good mood, and get a little bit dressed up, do your hair, do your makeup, so you'll feel good about yourself when you start, writing your profile. So when you start, remember, you're writing your profile in a way that will weed out what I call the unwanted or the time wasters.
Yeah, the looky-loos,
Yes, because the way you write your profile will attract the kind of men you want to date. So first you pick your username. And that's really important because certain usernames, you would not have thought of that.
No.
Yeah, certain names will attract different type of people. Like, for example, if your username is Flirty Girl 69, you're not going to attract the same men as if you're Bookworm 37.
Right.
So that's something to think about.
So you're not using your username is usually not your real name. Like mine wouldn't be a Stellian.
No, I don't suggest it myself. I know some people use like their first name, like Hélène.
Right.
Or I don't.
Just for privacy, like so
Exactly.
They can't just look you up and be like, find you and contact you, through my website or whatever. Right.
Yes, absolutely. So you want to write your profile in a positive way. You don't want to sound angry or bitter. And I mean, leave your ex out of your profile.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Right.
Your messy divorce, your ex.
Right.
You don't talk about it. This is a new beginning and your ex is not part of it. So you have to be careful about that. And
but also, if you're divorced, you want to say, you don't want to lie about that in terms of, I'm assuming there's a category where you check whether you've, been divorced or not. And so it's not like you're hiding anything either.
Absolutely not, because in the categories it says either divorce or never married or widowed.
Right.
So no, you're not hiding in it. Oh no, because you have to be honest. You have to be honest about your age, your figure, your interest, because once you meet in person, the truth comes out. Like I always laugh. I say, if you're 52, but it's fabulous if you look like 38.
Right.
But don't write that you're 38 on your profile, because when you meet in person, yes, you do look like 38. But if you're having to travel together on your passport, you'll see your real age. So no, lying about anything is never a good idea. Right. And for safety reasons, don't give private information. Like where you live or where you work, just on the safe side. And there are a few subjects to avoid, like religion, money, politics, your aches and pains.
Right.
Remember,
but what if it's important to you? What if you're like, I only want somebody who's Jewish or a Baptist or a blue state person or Republican or, I mean, isn't that, I mean, if that's a deal breaker for you, then I assume that should be mentioned. No?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. If it's important to you, by all means, yes, write it. And there are different websites actually that specializes in different religions.
Okay, interesting.
Absolutely. Yes. So now you're all set to sit and start writing your profile. So now what do you write in the first paragraph? Well, your first paragraph, I suggest to be very short. It's just about yourself, about your personality. Like maybe you're an artist, maybe you're creative. Like, for example, myself, I'm really bubbly. Well, it's not every man who likes a bubbly woman. Not everybody wants to wake up next to somebody at 6:30 in the morning who's like, good morning, it's a beautiful day to be alive, So for me, it's very important to write something like that in the beginning, because then it will save me from meeting quiet men who wouldn't want to be with me. So that's goes back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Your profile is the way that you weed out the ones who are not for you. There's nothing.
Or there might be quiet men who actually really appreciate a bubbly woman. It's a yin to the yang. So it's just but you're being honest about how you show up in the world, and that's going to attract some people, and that's going to be a negative for others.
Absolutely. Like Brian, my partner, he loves that I'm bubbly, So, but not everybody would like it. So that is where you can really say something about your personality in your first paragraph. And then in the second paragraph, you show a story. I always say you show a story, you don't tell the story.
Oh, interesting.
That's where you say, you show what a weekend with you would be like. What do you do on a Saturday, on a Sunday? Do you go golfing? Do you go horseback riding? Do you go sailing? What do you enjoy doing? Do you go biking? But be specific about the activity that you're doing. Like some people, I know one of my clients, she's a wine connoisseur, and she loves going to wineries, different wineries. So she indicated all the different wines that, exotic wines that she has tasted lately, and this and that. So she's attracted people who are interested in the same things as she is.
Yeah.
And also I have some clients who were saying they used to travel a lot when they were married, or they used to have an RV, or they had a cottage, or they had a boat, but now they can't really do it anymore. Well, it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy doing it anymore. It just means that right now you can't do it.
You mean because of the pandemic?
The pandemic, and sometimes also financially. I have some women who have teenagers, and now that they're on their own, they can't go to Europe anymore. They cannot go on these big trips, but it doesn't mean that they don't enjoy doing it anymore. So I always say, be specific. If you've been to different countries, if you've enjoyed certain areas, even of your own country, just be specific about it, where you've been, what you've loved, and where you would like to go. You'll see in the profile, I'm going to show you in a minute some examples of profiles, and you'll see how one woman says that where she likes to go walking and hiking on the weekends by the lake, have a lunch. So it all shows what it would be like to spend a day with you. So that's how you're going to attract men who enjoy the same activities. And if you like going to ball games, sport activities, you write it in as well. Yeah. So that's the way to write your second paragraph.
And so you don't write about things you don't like. Just focus on the positives and on the things you enjoy, and attract the people who might enjoy some of the same things.
Absolutely. And show who you are. Like I remember one of my clients, she said, well, I want somebody caring and somebody like a good person and everything. Well, and she was going to write that I want a man who is blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, anybody can say, well, I'm caring. He may not be the most caring person in the world, but he believes he is. So I said, well, show what you do. Like she was volunteering at a soup kitchen, at an animal shelter. So I said, show that you are a caring person, and you are going to attract caring men,
So show rather than tell. And I'm assuming it's the same idea for, let's say, instead of saying I'm funny, like you might just say something or write something that's kind of funny or irreverent or whatever. That's the personality piece in your first paragraph. Rather than telling everybody I'm funny, just kind of have a little pizzazz or a little humor in your writing, so that they can figure that out for themselves, right?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. That's where you put it in the first paragraph. You write something funny, a little funny statement. So they see right away, oh my God, this one, she's hilarious, you know? So,
yeah.
So then we get to the third paragraph. Third paragraph, you can talk about your family. If you have children, that's where you talk about it, but you don't have to give a lot of details. You don't have to give their names, their age, where they work, what they do, how many,
Right.
you know, you just, family is important to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Pets, I assume also, like, you know, that if you like dogs or cats or whatever, you know, like if you have
Yes.
furry friends too.
Exactly. Yeah. And you also write what kind of man you would like to meet. Instead of making the demand, I want a man who's like this. Well, I'm looking for someone, you know, it sounds much better.
Okay.
And then in your last paragraph, you have a call to action. That's very important because you want a question or a statement that will encourage somebody to reach out to you.
So, yeah. Okay. So you're going to show us some examples. So I was going to say like what, but I'm sure that's where the examples have come in.
Yes. I'm going to share my screen right now.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold on just a minute. I'm going to move this aside, make this bigger. So here we have Patty's profile, positive Patty. So as you can see here, she said that she's an optimistic woman. She's looking for an upbeat and energetic man. Being grateful for what I have and not fretting over what I don't have is how I live my life. So right away, you feel that she's a very optimistic person. You feel the positive in this paragraph. And then she says that she loves the outdoors, walking, cycling. On the weekends, she bikes along the lake. She stops for lunch. And so a man who's reading this can really picture in his head, like, you know, what she's doing on the weekend. Yeah. And then she says that she loves a glass of wine and she loves to cook by showing here what her signature dishes are. She loves to cook. And she likes watching sport and a comedy. That's another thing. If you say that you like thrillers, well, just identify what movies
give an example.
See. Yeah, exactly. And then family is important for her. She's got children. And then see here, she says, I'm looking for a partner with an appreciation for life and who's capable of laughing at the unexpected. Spontaneity can always be fun. So she tells you what she's looking for, but she's not making any demands. Yeah. And then what are your go-to activities? If you're looking for a fun, romantic, meaningful relationship, I would love to hear from you. So it's inviting for somebody to reach out to her.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
A lot of times people will say, well, I don't know what to say. And they just say, hey, how are you? You know?
Okay.
So in this case, you know, she has enough in her profile for somebody to read it and say, oh, well, I'm going to talk to her about this, about that, ask questions, you know.
Yeah, you really get a feel for her. That's nice. I'm ready to be friends with Patty.
Okay, now this is Positive Paula. And by the way, these examples, you can download them. I have them for free on my website.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah, we'll be adding the website link too in the comments, so that'll be easy to access.
Yes. So this is Paula's profile. So here she says, excited, curious, and ready to explore the second chapter of my life. So instead of saying, well, I've been divorced for 2 years and I'm lonely and I'm looking for somebody to fill my days. You know, basically she's saying it, but in a different way, you know, she's happy to start her new life. So she says she's energetic and greet every day with a smile. So here she.
What if you're not, though, Bernadette? What if you're kind of like, I don't know, you're not
quiet person
or not that positive. Maybe you're kind of irreverent. Maybe you're a little cynical. I don't know. Like, are you saying, don't say that about yourself? Because, you know, maybe you're just kind of, maybe life has been rough for you and I don't know, you're not that optimistic.
Well, you can always say something, about you, there's something about yourself. With my clients, I ask questions, and we always find something about their personality, because right now your life is not maybe too exciting, but who were you when you were 20, 25, 30? How were you? You're still that person. You haven't changed that much. Like I said, life is not the greatest right now, but deep down, you're still either the person who was adventurous, who would love, to.
It's more who are you at your best? Like, not, not when life is really kind of, weighing you down, but when you're really having a good day, when you're feeling good, and put that person forward.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these, the two women so far, Patty and Paula, have, enjoy a lot of physical activities, but like, it's okay if you don't. I mean, the second paragraph can be about, if you love to read and go to the movies and attend, or just take long walks, or just something that's not so, energetic, I guess.
Absolutely. Like, I have a client, she was looking for an intelligent man. So that's what she wanted to write. And I said, well, instead of writing, I want an intelligent man, I said, talk about the books that you've read lately, and the conferences that you've attended, and the exhibitions that you've seen at different museums. And I said, and then I have another client who has lung issues, and she cannot go on hikes and stuff like that. So she's more quiet. And that's exactly what she said. And people with the same interest have replied to her, because she said she enjoyed, on a Saturday watching a movie, cooking a nice dinner, watching a movie. Like, so you really show who you are, and then you're going to attract people who have similar interests. So here she creates a little bit of intrigue, because she's saying sailing, tennis, and hiking have always ranked high on my list. So here, sailing, well, does she own a sailboat? Is she taking sailing lessons? Does she sail with friends? So this is something that when somebody reads her profile, they can ask her questions about. So, and then here she talks about her interest, and she's specific about the two countries that she loved and where she would like to go next. And then compatibility in a relationship is very important to me. She would like to meet a man who lives in the moment and has a craving for new adventures. And again, she has a call to action at the end.
Like it.
And then we have our negative Nelly.
Oh no. Nelly.
Nelly is looking for a man who will appreciate her for who she is. At this stage, I won't be changing much.
Okay.
Online dating hasn't worked for me yet, because a lot of men are either liars, cheaters, or 10 years older than their pictures.
Okay.
Not
I feel you, Nelly. That's tough.
And then she loves taking long walks with Mocha, her lab. She said, we enjoy sitting together by the fire in the evening and watching politics on TV. I'm a political junkie. I like to read, attend the theater, and explore new restaurants. I would like to meet a man who is not too demanding, doesn't have too much baggage, and would enjoy taking Mocha and I for long drives in the country. Okay. So here we know that the dog
is her baby. That's her.
Yes. And then here are the demands. My ideal partner will own his home and have his own retirement plan secured. I will not be your ticket to a worry-free retirement. I'm looking for someone living no more than 30 minutes away, as I don't like driving too far, and relocating is definitely not an option.
Nelly, oh my goodness.
See, and if you have facial hair or tattoos, don't bother to email me, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not interested. Please note, married, separated status are not an option for me. So you see the difference between the tone. Like, would you really want to date Nelly?
Nelly, you're making it hard here.
And then This is also part of my online writing profile guide. I have the checklist. At the end, you sit. The first thing to do, you do a spell check. You make sure you don't have any mistakes. And then you check, how was my opening paragraph? Do I give too many details? Am I being clear about the type of man I'm looking for? Do I develop too much personal information? How do I end my profile? Do I give them information on which they can ask questions, etc.? All the
So the stuff that Nelly brings up, I mean, I get that you shouldn't put that in your profile. This is the kind of information you can suss out when you're actually meeting with the person. I mean, if you're politically, a good match politically, oh my God, he's, if he hates dogs or whatever, so it's not that they're not important. It's just, it's not what you should lead with. You're not going to attract people to even have a coffee with you. And I mean, it sounds like you went on a lot of coffees. So is that what you recommend as a starting thing? Don't go out, for dinner from the get-go, like have a shorter meeting span.
I've done both, actually. I've gone for dinner on first dates, and some of them went very, very well. Most of them actually went very, very well. I mean, yes, sometime during dinner, I was thinking to myself, well, okay, he's not for me, but hey, I had a nice evening, and on that night I had nothing else to do, so might as well go for dinner.
Right.
At the end, sometimes I didn't want to waste my time. And I wanted to have my daily walk. So I would meet them for a walk.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
If I didn't like them, at least I hadn't wasted my time completely.
That's right.
I had done my walk. So, but
you split the bill on the first date. What's your recommendation there?
That is a good question. The first date, if it's a coffee date, it's like whoever. I mean,
you're walking up to the counter maybe anyway, and
I used to arrive first and get my own coffee and sit and wait. But if it's funny that you say that, because I have a on Instagram, I have a post coming up on that, and I'm asking people, what do you think about it? Because let's say you've emailed a few times and you had a phone call and it went well, and then he invites you for dinner. Well, who's paying?
I know. I know this is really old fashioned, but I remember in the day it used to be like, well, he paid for dinner, so I kind of owe him something, or like a kiss or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to feel that way. No, but I also don't want to get the impression, if I'm insisting on splitting the bill, that's it, we're done. I just don't want to owe you anything. So it's a tricky thing.
It's a tricky thing. I don't think there is a right answer to that. You kind of have to, just feel the waters here.
Yes.
So usually the person who invites you out will pay, but it's always nice to offer. I mean, because at the end of the day, some men may accept that you offer to pay half, but if they invite you to a fancy restaurant, unless you've discussed beforehand that you're going to split the check, you kind of assume that he invited you there, that he's going to pay. But that's a question that a lot of people
there's no simple answer, it sounds like, basically. You kind of have to, it's good, it depends is the answer.
It depends, and it's a personal choice if you want to offer. I mean, men do appreciate it, because think about it, I went on 35 coffee dates. Imagine how many dates men go on, and they have to pay all the time. So
well, I know we're running out of time, but I have one more burning question, and that is,
go.
Is it true that, men are looking for women who are at least 10 years younger than them? I mean, like, I don't want to be Nelly, but I'm just saying that is something I have heard from my girlfriends, that, if I'm 58, good luck finding somebody my own age on the online dating, because the guys are going to be, 65 to 70 looking at me.
No, it's funny because when you said that, I was sure you were going to ask that question.
You know it. I'm sure it's the question you get all the time.
No, that's really that's a myth. A lot of men, I mean, yes, of course, some men want younger women. Absolutely. But there are men who are looking for women that are more their age, not chronologically their age, but mentally, like
Mm.
more on the same page, because sometimes there's a gap, a generation gap where you talk about movies like,
Right, and they're like, what? Yeah. Yeah.
oh, well, I
Yeah.
was in my diaper when that
Right.
movie came out.
Exactly. Or like the
Yeah.
music, like you have no, sense of the same music or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because as we age, we're going to be spending more and more time together.
Yeah.
We won't be as active, and, we're going to be retired and so it's important to have somebody that you can actually talk with and
Right.
have
Have
great
that
conversation.
companionship. Yeah.
Absolutely. So no, men, yes, like I said, some men, yes, absolutely, they want somebody younger, but there are a lot of men who appreciate a woman who's close in age.
Okay. That's a relief to hear. Okay. All
Totally.
right. We don't have to worry about that, ladies. And if a guy wants somebody that much younger, then maybe that tells you something about him. So if he's not,
Exactly. He's not for you.
yeah, he's not for you. So wow,
Yes.
this has been value packed, Bernadette. I love
Oh,
all of
thank
this
you.
great information, and I want to make sure our listeners know that you have several free gifts for them. You have your free online dating profile writing guide, which
Yeah.
you can download on the website. You can also sign up on the website for your free 30-minute discovery call. If you want to just kind of have a chat with Bernadette and
Yeah.
see how you might work with her. And I know that you have a very active Instagram profile too, where you post lots of tips. So
Tips. Yeah.
yeah. So anything else about those?
No, that's it.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll be putting Bernadette's foreveryoungandhappy.com is her website, and where you can get access to all of that information. And what is your Instagram handle? Is it
It's Date Coach Bernadette.
Date Coach Bernadette. So we be sure to go there for your Instagram tips and articles that Bernadette writes there. And I don't know, that's it. Thank you
That's it.
so much for joining us today, Bernadette. I really appreciate you just sharing so much value with us. And everybody, don't forget to check out the website. I'm going to be putting in the comments. And if you enjoy these videos, please watch for more. Until then, be well and stay safe, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Elaine. Bye.